Welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. The HSBC BWF World Tour returned to the Yonex German Open, where 5 first-time winners were crowned in Mannheim. Victor Axelsen was one of the champions to collect his first title at the Super 300 event, breaking Denmark's 10-year wait for a men's singles winner. Yo Jia-min made history in the women's singles by becoming the first Singaporean to win at the German Open. Here's what some of the first-time winners have to say about their incredible final.
It feels good. It was a hard-fought tournament win for me, so to go home with a title here means a lot. It has been a lot of long matches, a lot of hard rallies, and very good match training for me. So all in all, I'm super happy about it. I got a little bit tense in the end when I had a big lead, and he catched up a little bit, and I played some not so experienced rallies, you could say, and I got a little bit tense towards the end. But I got the win, and a win is a win. I take a lot of confidence from this win. There's All England coming up in 1.5 weeks' time, so that's the next thing.
I think I'm always very honored to be able to represent my country, and I think I'm very grateful for this opportunity that I can win my first title of Super 300, and I'll continue to do my best. Definitely gives me more confidence, but also this week has been a good week of kind of testing my mental, because it's like a good opportunity for me, and I'm really happy that I can overcome myself, and hopefully there's still a lot more to improve, and I'll keep working on it.
The last half a year haven't been so fun for me. It's just a mix of being proud of us like this week, and being proud of myself, still going to practice every day, and just kept going, believed on it. It will come in the end, and and also extremely happy.
I know we have the level, but we haven't shown it really well in the last tournaments we played together. So I think we took it one round at a time. We were happy to get more matches together in like a short period, so we could grow. And I think you can also see that throughout the week we're playing so much better and better every round, and resulting in a very good final.
It was amazing. I think we had a really good week here with like a lot of good matches, fights, everything. We really enjoyed being on court.
It's always good playing on a Sunday. Even better winning it. So.
Seo Seong-jae and Kim Won-ho had a wonderful start to their season. The Korean pair recently won the Petronas Malaysia Open and added a German Open title to their collection without dropping a single game. Despite their strong performance, Chris Langridge explains why the men's doubles final could have easily swung Toma and Christo Popov's way.
I've got to say, the German Open final was, for me, before they played the final, I thought it was going to be quite a one-sided encounter, but personally, I don't think it was at all. I think the first game could easily have gone either way. I think the Popovs played really well. And I'm going to be honest and say I was surprised at their level, just because they beat some good pairs along the way. And in the final, the Koreans at the moment for me are the in-form pair. They are probably the best pair in the world with consistency. And the Popovs' first game, they could have snatched it. They were playing so well, and they had a patch where they were 17-15 up, and it started to feel like something was possible. And then the next 2 rallies, there was one where Toma just slightly snatched, and the next rally Christo just snatched, and it was 17-all. But that was the moment for me where the game turned, and I felt like the Koreans then had a bit more control. Obviously, it was 21-19 in the end, and it still could have gone either way. Second game, it was the 6-love start for the Koreans that just made it so tough. That big patch, it kind of killed the game slightly, just because then the Koreans, they had that buffer, they had that comfort zone. Kim Won-ho is, I think, underestimated regarding is how consistent he is. Normally in a match, you'd identify areas of brilliance. Now, I'd say that's slightly less relevant with Kim Won-ho. The bigger thing is trying to find mistakes that he makes. There's hardly any. He is so consistent. He consistently plays between probably an 8 and a 9 for the whole match. He gives nothing to his opponents. He doesn't choose the wrong shot, doesn't make a simple mistake. He is very good throughout the whole match. There's less moments of brilliance, but that's less relevant. But this gives Seo Seong-jae that comfort of he can be more free because he trusts his partner. Another thing, Kim Won-ho, I would say he probably has the best defence in the world at the moment. He's so solid. You have to be so good to get through his defence. At the net as well, he's so sharp. He is so good coming forward. You know, he just doesn't give you that opportunity to get the shuttle away. It's that pressure, and it's the constant pressure. You have the option of trying to go through him, you can't, or you lift out to Seo Sung-jae, who's got a phenomenal attack. It's more like the men's doubles that we saw from Korea back in 2014 to 2018, where defence was very, very good. A fairly simplistic game, but so solid. And I think that's something that has been missing personally from men's doubles over the last couple of years. I think there are so many positive things the Popovs can take away, not just from this match, but from this tournament. For me, it was so impressive. It really was. I think the biggest question I have is, how can they play two events? And at the moment, they train predominantly singles, and the setup they have in the south of France, they don't have a lot of other doubles players to spar with. They predominantly do singles training. Doubles is a totally different event. There are some similarities, but I don't understand how they can play to this level, to be honest. They are phenomenal players, there's no doubt about that, but I was so surprised and so impressed with how good their doubles was in this tournament. They look like doubles players, whereas previously in some matches, maybe 6 months, a year ago, I felt like there were two really good players on court, and maybe they weren't quite as good in the first 3 or 4 shots. Their organisation at times could lack a little bit, whereas that first game in the final, they were so good. They could have they could have taken that first game against a pair that probably are the best in the world at the moment. There were so many areas that were good. Christo was varying his serve so well throughout the tournament. Their defence was so solid. Attack, so good together, rotated so well. I think something that was so good, when they were defending, they were giving throughout the whole tournament their opponents no time. They were pushing their defence, stepping up. They weren't worried about the opponents going over. They were taking the shuttle early. They were just doing everything so well. I don't know what happened at that 17-15 up in the first. I don't know if it was they started to think, hold on a sec, maybe we could take this first game. And we just saw probably in that next patch, maybe 4 points that just weren't quite as good. It was just simpler mistakes, but they played a good rally, and it was almost the final shot they just snatched at. But I think there's so many positives, and I would love, maybe it's slightly being selfish, but I would love to see what they could be like if they could devote a bit more of their training to doubles, because I really was so impressed with them in this tournament.
Gabriela and Stefani Stoeva hope to be third-time lucky at the German Open. The Bulgarians, however, were denied a title by Japan's Mizuke Otake and Miyu Takahashi. Despite losing 3 finals in Mannheim, Ashwini Ponnappa believes there are many positives to take away from the Stoeva sisters' performance.
As a pair, having reached 3 finals at the same event, there's always a positive effect of that, especially knowing that you kind of end up having like a fondness for the court, knowing that you've done well in the past. You know what the conditions are, you know what it takes to get from the first round to the finals. And especially if you have a history of having done that in the past, it gives you a lot more confidence. But having said that, I would say once you get to the finals, and if you've reached 2 finals in the past and you haven't won, you also tend to be very eager to win the finals. And sometimes that can actually have an adverse effect on the result because you're trying way too hard. This time around at the German Open, they were up against a Japanese pair, unlike the previous 2 finals that they played at the German Open. And for me, I would say this finals was quite different compared to the previous finals because the Japanese pair also have a similar kind of game style as the Stoeva sisters, wherein that they did not try to finish. They were quite happy opening up the rallies, not really playing too tight, tossing when needed, lifting when needed. And when they did get a chance, they were very quick to get their hard smashes in, because I felt like the Japanese pair also had a very, very strong offense, as do the Stoeva sisters. So it was a very different match compared to their previous 2 finals encounters where they played Chinese pairs. And I think they have a different style of play. They are more offensive, which sometimes does feed into the Stoeva sisters' game style, where if they are in rhythm, they have like a pretty good defense and they can wear their opponents down. I think they most definitely did well to manage that semi-final match, but I think they also had the upper hand, knowing that they have reached the finals and they have got to the finals. And having won that semi-final match, I would say that it should have given them a lot of confidence going into that final match, especially since they beat a Chinese pair along the way. But unfortunately for the Stoeva sisters, the Japanese pair was definitely quite strong in that final match. Having played 2 previous finals and lost against formidable Chinese opponents like Chen and Jia in 2022 and Li and Lo in 2024, they've had a good record at the German Open. They've played high quality matches. So having reached the finals again this year and not having played too many matches after the Olympics last year, I would say it's a good start for them heading into the rest of the European Tour. This is the first of 4 tournaments that are back-to-back. So it would give them a lot of confidence knowing that they are up there still, because they were the top seeds of the tournament and it was also expected of them to do well and win. But I'd say they would be pretty happy just reaching the finals, although I'm sure they would have loved it had they won. But they had a pretty good match in the finals as well against the Japanese pair of Takahashi and Otake.
The last 6 months of 2024 have posed challenges for HS Prannoy. The Indian shuttler suffered from the chikungunya virus and fought against time to recover for the Olympics. Although the 32-year-old managed to participate in the Games, his road to recovery after the tournament was long and painful.
Had some health concerns just before Olympics, and that kind of took very long time to settle, and took almost 4-5 months to just be on court. Not 4-5 months, probably 3 months to be just on court and do normal activities. I had chikungunya. It's a viral infection which causes because of mosquitoes, mosquito bite, and it's a very rare kind of a thing which happens. But in India, it's pretty common during summers, and probably 20 days before Olympics, I was admitted to the hospital. And the problem with chikungunya is it affects the joints in a very, very bad way, and the joints kind of tends to pain very badly, and that's what chikungunya is meant for. And I think for normal people who doesn't do high intensity activity, it generally takes 3 months for their joints to be completely all right. For somebody like me who couldn't take rest after the chikungunya because I had to straight come down for Olympics and I had to straight train for Olympics, so that entirely took the load. And after the Olympics, I was in a state where I was not able to open the doors of a car, and so I was in such a bad state for a good 2-3 months. So we're trying to figure out what to do, because it was something which happened from nowhere. But I had to play the Olympics. I mean, if it was any other event, it was literally impossible to kind of even think about it. But it was Olympics, and I had to be there on the court and had to fight for that spot. So, but post that, I think it was a nightmare for me. And I think by October end is what I think I literally started to do normal activities. And I think it's always tough to be out of the sport for a very long time. And I think if you're not injured, then you feel that you have a reason to play. But unfortunately, the health wasn't kind of helping in the last 4-5 months, and it took a pretty long time to kind of be in a position to play. And so I would say really grateful to kind of get one more opportunity to come and play at this top level. And I think last couple of months I could train really hard, and I'm happy with the way I worked. And I think that's the only thing as a player which you can do. I think work really hard, and probably to kind of get a win in a Super Series is always special out there. And I really want to build on this momentum.
Prannoy is looking to build on his momentum this week at the Allianz Masters. It will also be Lee Zhijia's first tournament of the year since picking up an ankle injury at the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals. So make sure to join us next week for the top stories from the Super 300 event. Now in the meantime, stay up to date with the latest news by downloading our BWF app Badminton for you. And do let us know your thoughts, comments and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. That's it from us. See you next week.